Well, happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another SCORE Memphis webinar. Our presenter today is Josh Gill, who is a senior manager with Brother International. He works for the U.S. Corporate Planning and New Product Development Team as a strategic projects manager. Before Brother, Josh worked for 20 years as a strategy consultant, helping companies launch new products and drive efficiencies. Josh and I started talking about this, Josh, I guess in December of last year, and we've gotten it together. It's been a long journey, and we're very happy to have you here, and happy to have one of your colleagues here on September 28th as well. So with that long introduction, I want to turn it over to you and take it away, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. It's been a while, so it's good to be here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for taking your time to join us today. I know as small business owners, I think your most precious asset is your time. And so I want to make sure that we're a good steward over your time today that you've entrusted with us. So thank you. Like Gary said, my name is Josh Gill. I work for Brother International Corporation. Prior to working with Brother, I spent 20 years as a business consultant around program management, business development. So I'm excited to be here to share with you today. So who is Brother? We are the Americas regional subsidiary of Brother Industries, which is a Japanese global diversified manufacturer, best known for printers and sewing machines. In our U.S. business unit, we have home and office printing, labeling, mobile printing, sewing, embroidery, crafting, garment printing, and gear motors. So a lot going on here. As Gary had mentioned, we have two main locations in the United States. So we have the Americas, our headquarters in Americas is in Bridgewater, New Jersey, which is where I'm presenting from today. And in beautiful Bartlett, Tennessee, just outside of Memphis, we have about 1.5 million square feet of office and warehouse and manufacturing space, which covers about 100 acres. Quite a facility. So I don't need to tell you all that starting a business is a lot of work. There are lots of moving pieces and decisions that can seem unending, which is why I think you need to have a plan to achieve your goals of starting or expanding your business. So why are we here today? In this seminar, we're going to talk about tools you can use to help start or expand your business. My goal is to give you practical, simple steps that you can use to help build or expand your business. Building a business plan can be hard, and starting is half the battle. This morning, we're going to talk about what is a business plan and why you need it, why you should set some goals and be flexible with updating them as your plans change. We'll talk about what makes your business unique. We'll discuss what is a mission, a vision, and a purpose, and why you should think about having one. All right, I love this quote by Ben Franklin. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So these are the four main topics we're going to walk through today in detail. I think one of the most important things to take away from today is to start. Sometimes we just need to start somewhere. We spend lots of time worrying about it, and we just need to start. I know for me, when I was working on this presentation, I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to present, how to present, and I was going back and forth in my mind. But eventually, I had to just sit down and start with slide one. And once I started writing, it started coming together. It wasn't easy. It wasn't always neat and orderly, but I just had to start writing something to get going. Sometimes we get stuck thinking and worrying, and we just need to start doing. Lastly, remember that plans change, goals evolve, your business and customers change, and your plans sometimes need to change to meet your customers' demands. So be flexible, continuously evaluate what works, and then fix what doesn't. Okay, so why do you need a plan? I think the most important thing about a business plan is that you know what it is. At the end of this presentation, I want you to be comfortable knowing the key parts of what's in a business plan and how to get started creating or updating your plan. I think number one, it's a tool. When I was a kid, I remember in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, there was a commercial on TV for Apex Tech. It's a trade school in New York City where I grew up. It's a trade school where you could learn to be an auto mechanic or air conditioning repair or whatnot. And at the end of the commercial, they always said, when you learn how to use the tool, it goes in your toolbox. And so that's how I want to think about this session, that you're going to learn some tools that you can put in your toolbox based on today's topics. So in each of these topics, we discuss my goal is to give you an overview and some thoughts, so you're aware of these important topics and you can add them to your toolbox. So to that point, a business plan is a written tool about your business that outlines the path your business intends to take to make money and grow revenue, right? Think of it as a living document for your business and not just a one-time activity. When I say living document, I mean it's something you should revisit and revise as needed continuously. It's not a once and done, never have to look at it again, right? A good business plan is a guide to help you think about the areas of your business you may not have considered. Starting a business is complex. Working on your business plan can be a good place to guide your thoughts. You should think about your business plan as a roadmap for how to structure, run, and grow your new business. It's a way to think through and plan for key elements of your business. Your first business plan might be just a simple few pages, but as your business expands and matures, you should continue to add to the document. You may start your business with only one product, but as your business grows, you may sell 10 or hundreds of products over time as you grow, and having a business plan with your future goals documented can help you to achieve your goals. The fourth bullet there, a good business plan can help you get funding. Most funding sources are going to require you have a business plan. Some of them may have very specific requirements on what information needs to be in your business plan, such as detailed financial projections, expected expenses and revenue, and expected sales targets. Also, what type of business organization you select, such as a sole proprietor or an S Corp, how many employees you have, where you will get your raw materials from. So these are the kinds of things you need to think about when starting and running a business. It also helps you set goals. Having a plan can help you set goals, and having goals can help you set your plan. If you know you want to sell 1,000 widgets a year and 10,000 the following year, that's a great specific goal, which is good. But with that, there are a number of questions that you need to answer, such as what are you going to get the materials to make your products, or hire enough people to help you make enough products? How much money do you need to invest in the raw materials and build your product? So this is a plan based on your goals to build out what your expectations and needs are for your business. So it's important. What is it? It's a tool you can use to document your ideas. It shows that your company has a plan, lots of templates on the SCORE website, and it's not as hard as you think. Start somewhere, start small. When you start a business, there's no shortage of advice on steps you should take. Registering your business, getting a tax ID, deciding on your structure of your business, applying for permits, licenses, etc. So it helps to have a guide. I think these are the 8 sections that we're going to talk through today that you should consider including in your business plan. We're going to walk through each of these sections, and we're going to discuss what you should consider including in each of these sections. All right, executive summary. Whoa, sounds scary, but what if we just ignore the word executive and we just call it a summary? Because that's what it is. Try to keep it to 1 page, but 2 pages is okay. It should be a summary of what your company is, how it will grow, and why it will be successful. Think about including a mission or a vision statement, which we'll talk about here in a few slides. When describing your company, you should include the problem statement or business opportunity that your product will help solve. Generally, there is a gap or a problem in the market which your business aims to solve. This is your problem statement, and it should be included in the summary. You should also include some basic information about your company's leadership team, employees, location. You should also include financial information and estimated growth if you plan to ask for financing. Expected growth plans should include 3 to 5 years. Number 2, company description, target market. Use your company description to provide detailed information about your company. Write down the problems your business solves or how you will differentiate your business. Be specific, be more specific than in the summary section. List out the consumers, organizations, or businesses your company plans to serve. Explain the competitive advantage that will make your business a success. Are there experts on your team? Have you found the perfect location for your store? Your company description is the place to explain about your strengths and the value that you bring. Every business has a target customer base or an ideal customer. Target market means identifying the type of customer your products or services are intended for. Here you will detail the types of customers you think would find your product helpful. Knowing your customer will help you target your marketing and advertising activities. A few examples: a convenience store target market is usually within a short couple of miles of that store. Brothers target customer is anybody who wants to print something. We'll sell you a printer. Number 3, market analysis or competition. Who is your competition? You'll want to understand who your competitors are for the product or services you're selling. Define your competition, their strengths and weaknesses. What are your competitive advantages? What are you and your product different, or why are you and your product different or better than your competition? Be realistic. Competitive research will show you what other businesses are doing and what their strengths are. In your market research, look for trends and themes. Try to understand pricing comparison. If your product is twice the price, why should a customer purchase yours? What do successful competitors do? Why is it working for them? And how can you do it better? It's important you know what your competition is doing so you can be sure there is a market for your products or services. Organization and management. Tell your reader how your company will be structured and who will run it. Will you need additional staff to run your business? Will you outsource items or insource? Outsourcing means having another company make components over your product, or will you build the products yourself? What will you pay your employees and your vendors? How much experience do your employees need? What skills do they need? How will you find new employees? What training will you provide? You should describe the legal structure of your business, state whether you have or intend to incorporate, or if it's a sole proprietor or limited liability. And you should talk with your SCORE mentor to discuss what the differences are of those different strategies. If needed, if your organization's large, you might want to create an organizational chart and lay out who's in charge of which groups and which departments within your company. You want to show how each person's unique experience will contribute to the success of your venture. Consider including resumes or background descriptions of key members of your team. Service or product line. Describe what you sell or what service you offer. Explain how it benefits your customers and what the product life cycle looks like. Product life cycle is from when a product is introduced until it's no longer a viable product. An example might be a music CD. They seem to be sort of petering out, I think. We had vinyl, we had 8-track, we had cassettes to CD. Now it seems we're moving back to vinyl or digital. I don't know where, but product life cycle is just the evolution of that product and how long you can sell it. You're not going to sell too many VHS tapes these days. If it applies, you should share your plans for intellectual property, copywriting, patent filings. If you're doing market research and development for your service or product, explain that in detail. The SCORE website and the SBA website have great information about product research and competitive analysis. Marketing and sales. Marketing plan. How will you get your products and services in front of your ideal customer? How will you communicate your message? How will you grow your business? You may have the best product at the cheapest price, but if your product isn't available, isn't visible where your target customers are, then it may not sell well. There's no single way to approach a marketing strategy. The strategy should evolve and change to fit your unique needs. Your goal in this section is to describe how you'll attract and retain customers. You'll also describe how a sale will actually happen. You'll refer to this section later when you make financial projections, so make sure to thoroughly describe your complete marketing and sales strategies. For more information on marketing strategies, there's the SCORE presentation by my friend Eric Kozak, who will be presenting another brother webinar on September 28th about marketing essentials. Operations. The operations section of your business plan is where you explain in detail your company's objectives, goals, procedures, and timeline. An operations plan is helpful for investors, but it's also helpful for you and your employees because it pushes you to think about tactics and deadlines. How are you going to run your business? What is the most efficient way to get the job done or the product created? Vendors and suppliers. Will you require outside sources or products to operate? What suppliers will you use on a regular basis? Can you get enough product timely? You should include an overview of how your product will be made and what risks there may be and how you may mitigate some of those risks, such as supply chain disruptions. We've all heard about the issues during COVID with suppliers not being able to get the supplies they need to be able to make their their products and get them to market timely. And lastly, financials. How much money do you need to start, run, or grow your business? How will you track cash flow and determine profitability of your business? You should have a detailed plan on how much cash you need to run your business for the first year. Most small businesses get into trouble around cash flow. They don't have enough money coming in the door to pay their bills. If your business is already established, include income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements for the last 3 to 5 years. If you have other collateral you should put against the loan, make sure to list it. Provide a financial outlook for the next 5 years. Include forecasts, balance sheets, cash flow statements, capital expenditure, budgets, etc. Be as specific as you can for the first year using quarterly or even potentially monthly projections. Make sure to clearly explain your estimates and match them to your funding request. This is a great place to use graphs and charts to tell the financial story of your business. In addition to that, if you're asking for funding, you should consider adding an additional section for any specific information the funding source may require. Different funding sources require different, specific information. And so be aware of that and add that into this section. You may want to specify whether you want to do debt or equity in terms and the terms you'd like applied and the length that your request will cover. How long do you need the loan for, etc. Give a detailed description of how you use the funds. Specify if you need funds to buy equipment or materials, to pay salaries. What are the funds going to be used for? And always include a description of your future financial plans, like paying off debt or hiring additional staff or doing additional marketing. Another section I didn't list here, but you might want to think about is an appendix. Appendix is just sort of an extra section. It's an optional section to consider. You can use your appendix to provide supporting documents or other materials. If there are specially requested common items to include here are credit histories, resumes, product pictures, potential letters of reference, permits, legal documents, or other contracts.
Cool. Hey, Josh, we have a question. Can I jump in real quick?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, first I got a text from my client of mine who said there's no poll question for I have a detailed plan, but now I'm overhauling it, which I thought was a good thing that sort of speaks to your idea that you can always go through and update your business plan.
Definitely.
But Stephanie Congo says, can you talk about a business plan being flexible? How structured versus how flexible do you suggest? How often do you suggest updating your business plan?
Okay, yeah, great. So let's go back here real quick. So I think there's two thoughts I have around flexibility. So one is you don't necessarily need all 8 of these sections, right? If these don't all talk to you, maybe you don't include every single one of these based on where you are in your plan. And so that would be the first flexibility, is to review all these sections. How does that apply to you? And then the second one is how much depth you go into. Early on, you may want to have a simple 1 page for each of these sections, and over time, you may add and well, hopefully you'll add to it over time and expand on it. And so, what your plan is today may be 1 or 2 or 6 pages, and what you may get to a year from now or 2 years is dozens of pages. I think it's probably good to review once a year. I think once a year is probably a good timeline to review and look at what's changed, look at your end of year goals. And we're going to talk about goal setting here in a minute. But based on what your goals are, when you meet a goal, might be time to say, okay, let's expand that goal. What's our next big thing? And so at any time you hit a goal, hit a major milestone, or at least annually review what's working and of course, what's not working.
Great, thank you. And folks, if you have questions, please use the Q&A button at the bottom, and we will get to your question. We have a couple people who've raised hands, but for right now, we want Josh to keep rolling. So if you have a question, put it in the Q&A section at the bottom, and we will get to it soon. Thanks. Go ahead, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, so business goals. Begin with the end in mind. It's one of my favorite sayings from Stephen Covey. He's the author of several books, but his most popular one, I think, is, and this quote comes from, is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Highly recommend you read it, especially if you can get it for free from your local library. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So begin with the end in mind. We need to have goals, and these goals are not chiseled into rock. They're not permanent, right? These goals can and probably should evolve over time as you learn and grow your business. Goals change over time as your business changes. SMART goals. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely or time bound. Right? Goals should be achievable, but also should push you to achieve something. Specific meaning clear, what you want and what you and your employees want to achieve. Measurable, be able to quantify the goal in order to be able to track it. Can't manage what you can't measure. Achievable and realistic. It's great to be ambitious, but make sure you aren't setting your team up for failure. Create a goal that everyone is motivated to complete with the resources available, right? Make sure your goals are reasonable based on resources and the skill sets that you have. And then timely. I think it's important that you have some sort of a deadline that you target, that you work towards. Goals should not be set up in a vacuum. I think it's good to work with your employees and your SCORE mentor to set multiple goals that everyone in the company can work towards together. And don't forget to celebrate wins. I'm terrible at this. I know I get so caught up in the next big thing that we forget to go back and celebrate big wins. You know, if we hit a sales target, we hit our goal, if we sign a new dealer or distributor, we need to take time to celebrate and to remember those wins, and then keep updating your goals and keep working towards it. So have a plan. Know it will probably change. Share it with your team. I think it's important your team be part of the goal setting process, and then measure them. Those are the key takeaways. Okay, unique. So why is unique important? How will this help your business be successful? I think unique is good to think about because it can help your product or your service stand out in a crowded, competitive environment. If your product is too similar to others, then you may struggle to grow your business. Some things to think about when considering ways to make your product or service unique. What do your existing clients or customers really appreciate about your service or product? Why are long-term clients still with you? What was one of the nicest things a client ever said about how you conduct business? Hopefully you're talking to your customers, you're asking them for their feedback, and you're understanding what it is and why they like doing business with you. So here's 6 ideas I think to think about ways to make you and your business stand out from the competition. Number 1, focus on great customer service. One example is Chick-fil-A. I think we've all had a chicken sandwich. They have a relentless focus on customer service. If you have a problem, they will never argue with you about it. They will fix your problem. Every employee at Chick-fil-A is empowered to help fix your issue. There's no transferring you around to different people to help. If you have a problem with your sandwich, they will immediately take it and give you a new sandwich. There's no debate there. So aim to create the best experience for your customers. From your initial proposal through final delivery of your product or service, be sure your customers are treated as if they were the only one you have. Number 2, solve a problem. Find out what common problems your clients have and be the best at solving them. Make your solutions easy so you can solve their problems faster and with better results. Be innovative. Continuously try to improve your customer-facing process to deliver better results to your target customer. Every industry evolves, and so should your business. If you offer similar services as the competition, make the way you deliver them or how you work with your customers unique. Try to get to that solution faster, more accurately than the competition. Create offers that are hard to ignore. Be creative with your service packages. Add so much value that it's hard to say no. If you offer training, give people access to a free module or a money-back guarantee. If you have a membership site, offer a free trial for a month so they get a chance to try it out. Be known as the expert in your field. Build a reputation as the expert in your field through your blogs, books, video, training, or other information products. People who truly have a problem to solve will want to work with an expert who can help them with their problems. And lastly, make it easy to do business with you. Work on your business model to make it easy as possible to work with you. Provide access to you via text or email 24/7, social media, we'll talk about in the marketing session, simplify your contract, or instead use an engagement letter. Do whatever it takes to make working with you easy and convenient.
Josh, we have another question. Can I jump in?
Absolutely.
And first of all, I love number 6. Make it easy to do business with you. I think that's sometimes we outthink ourselves a little bit. But the question that came up is from Tanisha. Would you recommend a startup business create what seems to be a more complicated business plan, or maybe instead a lean one-page business plan canvas? And to that end, one of our attendees, Angie, typed in, Lean Canvas is a great tool for building a flexible business plan. It acts like a living document that is easy to adjust over time. So I don't know what you know about the smaller, like the business model canvas that we've done webinars on, or the lean business model canvas. So what would your response be to that?
I think it's a tool for you to help you organize and plan your business. And I think whatever tool works for you is what you should use. The most important thing is, I think you're writing things down. You have a document that explains that you can share with your employees, with investors, with whoever. And so I think a canvas is a great tool. I did some research for this presentation. I looked into that. And I thought the canvas was kind of an innovative, kind of cool new way to do it. And I think if you're a small business and you can get all your content on there, then I think that's great. I think at some point a business will grow to where the canvas may be a little too simple, but absolutely, Canvas is a great way to get started. And I think it's better to have that than nothing, or something that's so complicated that doesn't do you any good, right? The last thing I want you to do is go create some crazy complicated business plan that you spent hundreds of hours on that just collects dust and doesn't actually help you grow your business, right?
Could I add to that?
Absolutely.
Sorry, that was a great answer, Josh. I agree with you. The other thing to consider is that what are you using your business plan for? If you're using your business plan to get a loan or some funding, then there's some specific things you need to be including in there. And so you should take a look at what the bank or the lender is going to require and make sure you include that. So what's the purpose of the business plan would play into that as well.
Yeah, excellent, Jane. That's a great point. You're right. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. So just real quick, the USP, so unique selling proposition, that's just a fancy word for it, something unique that helps distinguish it. Often companies will focus on a single feature or benefit that solves a problem, so and satisfies the customer's need. And what do your clients really appreciate about your service? Again, talk to your customers, talk to your best customers, get to know your customers. I can't stress that enough. Okay, let's talk quickly about a mission, vision, and purpose. I mentioned you might want to consider having your mission and vision statement in your business plan summary. I don't think a small business should be spending weeks or 40 hours to hire some fancy consultant to help create the perfect mission, vision, and purpose statement. But again, this is something I think you should consider having as part of your toolbox. And there's value to having a mission, a vision, and a purpose. So I think one reason you should consider it is because it can be a powerful tool to share with your customers, your team, and potential investors. What do you want from your business? It's a simple way to share what you want to work towards. Creating a mission, vision, and purpose is likely not a one-time activity. It's again something that will change and evolve as your business grows and changes. So what is a mission statement? The purpose of a mission statement is to provide a short summary of your business's purpose and focus. It can be complex or simple, but it should never be more than one paragraph, and sometimes often only one sentence. The idea is for the mission statement to be simple enough to stand on its own. Also, many mission statements identify the type of business they are, the product or service they sell, and or the target market or customer base they're seeking. Your mission should answer the question of how. How are we going to behave? How do we define the objective to measure whether you're making progress? Mission statements can be where you talk about how lives are changed, and mission statements can be where you talk about how objectives are won. And mission statements can even include the products or services that you sell. So Sweet Green to inspire healthier communities by connecting people to real food. Short and sweet. Vision. So think of your vision statement as a glimpse into your business's future. While the mission describes your company's focus and what it does, the vision for your company is its direction and identifies what you want it to become. Purpose of your vision statement is to identify the goals and outcomes your business was created to achieve and how we'll get there. Excuse me. Your vision statement is important both internally and externally. I think it's both aspirational as well as inspirational. For your team, for your employees, it lays out the picture of what the future looks like for your business and inspires them to help get it there. For your customers, it provides a picture of what your company is working toward and invites them along for the ride. When crafting your vision statement, you and your team will want to ask some important questions about the future. Here are 6 questions to ask. What problems does your company want to solve? What does future success look like for your company? How many employees will your company have? How large will your customer base be? Does your vision align with your mission? And what is the legacy you want your business to leave? So a vision statement is a statement of what the future looks like if the organization is successful. It's a statement of where you as a company are headed. A vision statement describes what the world looks like if you achieve that mission that serves your purpose. And the thing about vision statements is they are by nature hopeful and ambitious. They're meant to inspire by painting a picture of the future that you're working towards. Leadership involves change, and your vision statement is a picture of what the world looks like when you have finished that change. So with vision and mission, we have the what and the how, but we still need to answer the why, and that's where purpose comes in. A purpose statement is a single statement that defines the reason your company exists beyond simply making a profit. It could explain why your organization began, why it's on that journey. It explains what you are seeking to write or what opportunity you are seeking to leverage. Again, I'm not sure this should be your top priority, but depending on where you are in your maturity of your organization, when the time is right, these can be powerful tools to help align your teams and share your goals with your team and your customers. Here's just some samples that I thought would be interesting to share around mission, vision, and purpose statements from some well-known companies. A couple more slides. So I thought it would be good to quickly share Brothers' vision and mission. So to be where people and technology meet, providing products and solutions enhance how people live, work, and create. And our mission to live at your side, promise and simplify and enrich the lives of our customers, employees, and communities. And instead of a purpose statement, Brother has a shared values that we define that drives our business decisions. Those 4 values are inclusive, how we provide an environment where everyone feels valued; collaborative, how do we help build deep relationships across teams to help teams excel; customer-centric, how do we place the customer first in our interactions; social responsibility, how are we good citizens; environmentally responsible, and how do we give back to the communities that we are a part of. And these are all core items that we share consistently across the business with our teams and our customers as well. All right. In summary, work with your SCORE mentor, talk to them, ask them questions, pick their brains. A business plan is a tool. Have a plan, communicate the plan, always be willing to be flexible and update your plan. I mentioned before, September 28th, my friend and colleague Eric Kozak is going to be presenting another seminar about marketing essentials for small business. He'll talk about a few tips and tricks and inexpensive ways to market your small business. I hope you are able to join him. I think I don't know if there's any other questions. Happy to answer.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes here before we go. Here's somebody popped in with a question. Let's see.
Sure.
Ramon Henson, where does a SWOT analysis fit into this?
Okay, SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses. Let me go back to, so there's 2 SWOTs, I guess. There's one for your competition and there's one for your company. So if you're talking about for your strengths and weaknesses, I would say that would be under your operations. So you can do under market analysis, a SWOT for your competition. And then I think under your service and product, what are you selling? I think you could put a SWOT under your organization's strengths. Could go in either of those spots.
Do you prefer, or maybe you would think both. When I think of a SWOT analysis, I talk more about comparing your business to another business, or actually doing sort of a SWOT analysis on somebody else's business, so you can see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, where the opportunities that they might be letting go, and what their threats are to you. But you can also do it for your own business, right?
Exactly. Yep. I would agree with that for sure. Yeah, I think it was originally it was about looking at your competition and understanding what threats were to your business and your business growth. But I think a lot of people now do it internally, as organizations grow. It depends on the size of your business, of course, for sure. But I think it's a great thing.
Okay, we have in the chat from Leah, Gretchel. First of all, do you ever need a food truck at your Bartlett location?
Do we need a food truck at our bar? That's a great question. I don't know, actually.
I love that question. Go for the marketing.
Do you have a contact person that Leah might be able to reach out to in Bartlett, or that I could pass on to her? You could send me, maybe.
I can find out. Yeah, I can find out. I'll
Okay.
check on that.
Well, Leah, I will have Josh send that to me, and I will forward that to you. She also says, would a single business have more than one business plan? Should there be different facets of that company? For example, food truck goals, retail store, catering, and all of which are sort of different entities.
That's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about that. I guess I could argue both sides. I think if they're unrelated businesses, so if the food truck sells hamburgers and the retail store sells t-shirts, they're totally unrelated. I would say they'd be separate business plans. But if you have a food truck that sells hamburgers and your retail store sells hamburgers and they're related business, they use the same raw materials. They use a lot of times the same labor. Employees can work in both locations. So I would say if it's a shared sort of operations, then I would say one business plan. But if it's totally separate functions, I would say maybe two different business plans is my thought.
Okay. We have a great comment from Jay Myers, who is a colleague of ours here in SCORE Memphis, that really emphasizes the business plan aspect, the need for it. He said, I did a short version of my business plan when I started my technology business in 1996. But frankly, so many things came up in the first few years that I didn't plan for, and we almost went out of business. When I spent the time to complete a professional and detailed business plan in 1998, we grew from 1 million to 25 million in the next 10 years. Business plans work.
Awesome.
So Yvette has chimed in. They use, I'm guessing this is the food truck question. They usually use people 3 times a year. I worked there 8 years and we had catering. So we'll follow up with that. Melissa says, you're getting a lot of offers here, Josh. Leah read my mind. I was going to post, Joshua, thank you for your presentation today. I own a promotional products company and would love to help brother with their promo items and company apparel. Can you connect me to the marketing director or whoever is in charge of this?
I would have to look at who that is, but I can look into that, find out where somebody ordered this brother shirt for me last year, a couple of years ago. I'll find out. Okay.
And William Henderson says, Josh, we've noted Leah's chat message and we'll share with someone in Bartlett for their reference.
William Henderson is my boss, so that's great.
I'm glad you showed up then, Josh. Your boss is watching, huh? That's good. Do we have any other questions? Josh, this has been a terrific session. We really appreciate it a lot.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate brother folks. We appreciate the brother being in Bartlett and being such a good community partner with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this was helpful, and I hope folks were able to add some tools to their toolbox today.